Thank you for returning. We're going to continue where we left off in the book of Genesis chapter 27. We're going to lead right here in verse 28. But before we get back there, I want to talk about the previous episode with the story of Isaac, Rebekah, Esau, and Jacob. And we saw that Isaac felt that he was getting ready to pass away. He felt that death was upon him. And so he moved to have his son Esau blessed. So he asked Esau to do this thing that we talked about in the previous episode. And Esau went to do it. But Rebekah, his wife, overheard this, and she moved in haste and told her son Jacob to do what she say do. And they conspired together to get the blessing of Isaac while Esau was gone, because Isaac wanted this blessing to be for his son Esau. Esau indeed was the firstborn, and that was tradition of that land to bless the firstborn. But it didn't work out that way, because Rebekah and Jacob conspired together to steal this blessing. And indeed, they didn't have to steal it, because Jacob already had the blessing before he was even born. I guess Rebekah didn't remember is that the Lord told her the elder shall serve the younger. And the eldest is Esau, and he would serve the younger, which is Jacob. But I guess she didn't understand what that meant. And so now her husband, Isaac, feel like he's getting ready to pass away. So he want to go ahead and bless Esau. And now she do not want Esau to get this blessing. She want her son Jacob to get this blessing, because this was her favorite son. And Isaac wanted Esau to get this blessing because that was his favorite son. And indeed, Esau was the firstborn. So we're going to continue where we left off at. But now, guess what happened? The conspiracy worked. Isaac indeed blessed Jacob. Jacob has received this blessing from his father, Isaac. Now, I want to say this again. This blessing was already going to be Jacob. Okay. But he went ahead and did it on his own. It's too bad that he did that, because he did not have to do that. He did not have to deceive his father for this blessing. But I guess the best thing I can think of is he just didn't know it, or he just wasn't being patient. But either way, this blessing was already his, and now he have stolen it, or he's stolen something that was already his. And so Isaac indeed blessed Jacob, and Esau was gone. This blessing is supposed to be for Esau. Esau was still hunting and doing what his father Isaac asked him to do. And now here comes Jacob. He comes in, he deceived his father in a very bad way, received the blessing, and indeed the blessing is now Jacob. Now we're going to see in verse 28 what this blessing is all about. Okay, we saw that that the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, and when we went into that covenant and what the Lord said to Abraham, he told us certain things that, that you shall be a father of many nations. Your descendants shall be like the stars of the heaven and the sands of the sea, innumerable. But now we're going to get some more details of this firstborn blessing. We're going to get more details of it right now in verse 28. So let us start in Genesis chapter 27, verse 28. If you did not watch the previous episode, please watch the previous episode so that you can see exactly what's going on now as we continue in this chapter 27. So here it is, Genesis chapter 27, verse 28. Now Isaac has blessed Jacob. Jacob is now blessed. And here is the blessing right here. Therefore, God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blesses he that blesses thee. Now, that is the blessing. This is a continuation of the Abrahamic covenant that the Lord made with Abraham. This is a continuation of it. And this gives us more details of what this covenant is, besides the other thing that the Lord told Abraham that was part of this covenant. So let's take a look at it. Now, this is what Isaac is saying to his son, Jacob. This is the blessing right here. Therefore, God, or therefore Yah, give thee the dew of heaven. The dew of heaven is that now you will have plenty of rain for your crops, for your harvest, for your land, for your soil, for your rivers, for your lakes, for your herds, for your cattle, for your wells. You will get the dew of heaven. There will be no time, there will be no instance of drought, and there will be no instance of no rain. There will be no instance that lack of food, because you will have the dew of heaven. That means that the rain will fall down, and rain brings down blessings, right? It brings down blessings. And when this blessing comes down, it causes growth throughout the land, and it causes, water to flow throughout the land, whether it's through the rivers, or whether it's through the ponds, or whether it's the spring of water, whether it's the well of water, whether it's a lake. But all the cattle would not go into thirst. Neither would the land go into thirst. Neither would the people go into thirst, because there would be plenty of water. You will get the dew of heaven. Now, heaven is above, and the water, which is the rain, is above, and it will come down. And that's what it is when it says dew. In other words, you will get the rain of heaven. And the fatness of the earth. The fatness of the earth is that you would get the best part of the earth. You would get the part of the earth where everything is good, where the soil is good, where the land is good, where the weather, let's just say, even the weather is good. You would get the fatness of the earth. You would get the part of the earth that is very, very prosperous, and very, very good land, and very good rivers and lakes. You will get the fatness of the earth. That means that when you think about the fat part of a food, like for instance, you're eating a steak, right? And the fatness of the steak, which bring more flavor and juice to the steak itself, right? And that is the good part. And so he's telling Jacob in this blessing, you will get the good part of the earth. You will get the part that you would not have to worry about anything. It's the blessed part. And so not only you will get the dew of the heaven, but you will get the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine that would go with the dew of heaven, and that would go with the fatness of the earth, because you will have plenty of corn. That means you will have plenty of grain. You will have plenty of wheat. You will have plenty of corn. You will have plenty of food. In other words, there will be no lack of food for you. There will be no lack of food for the nation. There will be no lack of food for your cattle. There will be no lack of food for your herbs. There will be no lack of food for the families in that land. And so you will have plenty of grain, plenty of wheat, plenty of corn. That's what corn means. And then wine. The word wine is another word for, well, we know wine is going to be something that you drink. So you have plenty of wine to drink. But this wine also means there will be much joy, gladness, and happiness. And so there will be joy, gladness, and happiness in this land that you would be possessing, Jacob. Now, on verse 29, let people serve thee. Now people would be serving these people, Jacob. Now, Jacob, later, his name is going to be changed to Israel. And in this new heaven, in this new earth, and then also it was in the time of the king of David and king of Solomon, but this is also spiritual too, because this is going to be something that is permanent. It won't be just temporary. We will see this when we get into the book of Kings, and when we get into the book of 1st and 2nd Kings, that these things did come to pass. Right. But it's much more than that, because this is actually a new heaven and a new earth that we will see when we get to the Gospel of Matthew. But let the people serve thee. So there will be people serving the children of Israel, which is the children of Jacob. They will be served. OK, then watch this. And the nations bow down to thee. We're going to see that, especially in the reign of King David and King Solomon. We're going to see nations come down to bow to thee, to give gold, to silver, precious diamond, anything that Israel wanted. These nations brought it to them. We're going to see that this prophecy come to pass. But this is also a prophecy that is of the future. Also, I am convinced with the new heaven and the new earth. Be the Lord over thy brethren and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Now look at this right here. Be the Lord over thy brethren. Now Jacob had other brethren. One of his brothers right now, we know for a fact that Esau, but he also had a brother, Ishmael. He also had 4 other brothers from Abraham's wife, Keturah, because when Sarah passed away, Abraham remarried, and he had a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare 4 sons for Abraham. And all of these are Jacob's brothers, really, right? Because Abraham had a son. His son is named Isaac, of course, and Isaac is now blessing Jacob. And these are the sons of Abraham. And these are the great-grandsons of Abraham and Isaac. And so these would be the brethren he's talking about right here. And of course, we know that Esau is the immediate brother because Isaac only had 2 sons. He had Esau and Jacob. But now we had those previous sons of Abraham, right? And so now we see that these are the brethren because they are all brethren. And we will see that when we get to the 12 tribes of Israel. And let thy mother's son, this is Esau, bow down to thee. Now that's the reason why I know that this is the other sons. These are the sons and grandsons of Isaac and the sons and grandsons and the great grandsons of Abraham, because he said, let thy other and be the Lord over thy brethren. We're talking about those men. And now we're talking about Esau right here, because it says, and let thy mother, okay, his mother is Rebekah, sons, okay, this is Esau and his sons, Edom, what? Bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee. Now this saying that anyone that curses you, anyone that comes against you, okay, they will be cursed. And bless he that blesses thee. Now anyone that blesses you shall be blessed. And we would definitely see that in the reign of King David. And we see that in the reign of King Solomon, how nations that bless Israel was blessed, and nations that curse Israel that was cursed, and nations that came against Israel was destroyed, and in nations that prospered and supported Israel were lifted up. And we definitely going to see this prophecy come to pass. And it won't be that long, because when we get into the book of Kings and we get into 1st and 2nd Kings, we're going to see this prophecy actually being fulfilled, because Israel would be the zenith of the world at that time. It would be the most prosperous, wealthiest country at this time when we get into the book of Kings under David and under King Solomon. We will see this come to pass. And I definitely want to say that this is also spiritual. I am convinced wholeheartedly that this is how it would be in the new heavens and in the new earth. And the reason why I say that, because the Sermon on the Mount in the book of Matthew, when we get there, Christ talks about this right here. And I am convinced that this would be the what? The reign, the reign over the heavens, over the earth. Now, let's keep it moving right here, because now here comes verse 30. And now this blessing has been passed on to Jacob. And now let's go to verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. Now, Isaac had just finished blessing Jacob. Jacob just walked out. And soon as Jacob walked out, he hadn't even walked out good. Here comes Esau, ready to get the blessings from his father, Isaac. Now watch this right here. This is a terrible thing, because, man, Isaac now is going to see that he's been deceived by his son, Jacob. Now, verse 31, and he also had made savory meat, talking about Esau, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that my soul may bless me, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. Look at that. Now, listen, Isaac now is aware that he was right all along. Jacob was not Esau. He was deceived. But Jacob and his mother Rebekah put up a good plan, and that plan actually worked. and it was able to deceive Isaac, and Isaac fell into that deception. And now here come Esau. He ready to get the blessing. And here can, what did Isaac say? Isaac said, who are you? Right? I don't know who you are. You see? And then Esau said, I'm Esau, your firstborn. Now watch what happens right here. And Isaac, his father, and Isaac, his father, said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, Esau, thy firstborn. Now verse 33, and Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and I have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. Now Isaac is saying to Esau, who are you? He said, well, who the one that came in here, right, and gave me venison, right, and brought it to me? And I've eaten all before thou camest. I've eaten all of it before you came, Esau. And I have blessed him. This is Jacob, the him. And yes, he, Jacob, shall be blessed. Wow. Isaac trembled exceedingly. Why? Because he knew that this blessing is now going to Jacob, and there's nothing he can do to reverse this blessing, because everything that was required to get this blessing, Jacob had done it. And now he's not going to have anything at all to bless Esau, his favorite son. He would not have a blessing for Esau. He would actually come and try to give Esau a blessing, but there's nothing left for him. And so that's why he trembled exceedingly, because not only was he deceived by his own son and by his wife, Rebekah and Jacob, but now he has nothing to offer Esau in the sense of a blessing. Now watch this right here. Let's keep it moving. In verse 34, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. Now Esau in great despair. Remember we talked about the despair of Esau. Esau in great despair. He cried, and not only did he cried a bitter cry, a great cry, pleading and begging his father Isaac to bless him also. And look what happens right here in verse 36, right? Now let's see, verse 35. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. Look what Isaac just said to Esau. Your brother came with subtlety. He came in a smooth, deceptive, manipulating way, and he took away your blessing. And the fact of the matter is, it really wasn't Esau's blessing anyway. It was Jacob blessing the whole time. But hey, that's what Isaac said. And guess what? Esau is very, very upset. He's in great despair. He's in a level of depression because he knows that his father time is not much longer on the earth, and that, or at least he thinks that anyway, and that he wanted to get his father's blessing, whatever that blessing may be. And the blessing that Jacob got was so great that what could he possibly give Esau as a remaining blessing? And that's exactly what Isaac is going to say. He's going to say, there's really nothing left I can give you. So let's keep it moving and see right here. And verse 36, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? Now look what Esau said. Is it not so to his name Jacob, the supplanter? Now remember, we see 3 things happen with Jacob. The first thing Jacob did in his mother's womb, Esau was coming out first. Jacob grabbed the heel of Esau because Jacob wanted to come out first, right? But Jacob did not come out first. Esau was born first. And when Esau was being born, Jacob grabbed his heel, tried to hold him back. Number 1. Number 2, Esau came from honey. He was hungry. And then he asked his brother Jacob, said, listen, I'm hungry. Give me something to eat lest I die, right? That's what Esau said, was going to die, but that's what he said anyway. And what did Jacob say? He said, well, yeah, sure, I do this for you. Yeah, no problem, brother. But, if you sell me your firstborn birthright, if you sell me your birthright, right, the birthright of the firstborn, then sure, I give it to you, no problem. And Esau agreed to this foolishly, he did agree to it. And Jacob gave him some meat that Esau liked it, red porridge. Esau ate, and Esau sold his birthright to Jacob for a morsel of meat. And why did Esau do that? Because that birthright meant nothing to him. And now we see a third time. Here it is. Jacob now is conspiring to what? Take the blessing. First, he wanted to be born first so he can guarantee it. That didn't happen. So he come up with a plan. He takes he have Esau sell his firstborn rights. Okay. And that firstborn right comes with blessings. So now Esau sold that, right? And so now Jacob wants the blessings now. He already got the firstborn right from Esau, right? Because Esau sold it for a morsel of meat. And now here comes Jacob saying, now I want the blessing that Esau would have gotten. At least that's what they think he would have gotten, because that wasn't part of the Lord's plan at all. Jacob already had this blessing. But they going in the way men think, and they're not going in the way that the Lord thinks. So now here it is. He conspired to deceive his father, Isaac, and now he stole the blessing. He was able to get the birthright, and now he got the blessing through an act of deception with his mom, right? And so now he's called Jacob. That's what Jacob means, a supplanter. And later we'll see that the Lord will change the name from Jacob to Israel, because indeed this name Jacob come with a lot of issues, a lot of problems. And so his name will be changed to Israel later. And he said, thy brother has came and suddenly has taken away thy blessing. And he said, Esau said, is it not rightly named Jacob? He has supplanted me these 2 times, and he took away my birthright. And behold, now he has taken away my blessings. And he has said, hast reserved any blessing for me? Now look what he said. He took away my birthright. No, you sold those birthrights. Remember, he didn't take it from you. You gave it to him for a morsel of meat. And number 2, your blessings. He did not take away your blessing. That blessing had already belonged to him in the eyes of the Lord. Now, look right here. Esau is saying, listen, now if there's any blessings for me, right? That's what Esau is saying to Isaac. And look what it says right here, verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren I have given to him to servant, and which corn and wine I have sustained. What would I have left to give you? I have made him your Lord. All the brethren, he will have all the corn, he will have all the wine, he will have the dew of the heaven, he will have the fatness of the earth. What is there left for me to give you? There's nothing left. You see? Because even if I bless you, it wouldn't be nothing compared to the blessing that Jacob has just gotten. And so, man, Jacob has really made his way into trying to get this blessing. And indeed, he did get it. Yet again, I want to keep saying this over and over again. He already had the blessing. But in the tradition of that land, the firstborn would get this blessing first. And Jacob wanted to take this away from the firstborn, which was his brother Esau. And if he were going into the tradition of the land and the tradition of the people in that time, then he successfully did take it away. And so, Jacob, man, he really is a surplanter, isn't he? So let's keep it moving and get to the next verse. I want to read that verse 37 one more time. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all the brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine I have sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above. Now, look what Isaac is trying to give a blessing to Esau. He said, what do I have left for you? And Esau is still crying and he's pleading, he's begging his father, you have at least one blessing for me, anything that you could give me? And look what Isaac said right here. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Now, this is definitely not the same type of blessing, right? Because Jacob is getting the fatness of the earth and he will get the dew of heaven. But look right here. Esau, he will dwell. He won't get the fatness of the earth. He will be dwelling in the fatness of the earth. And because he's going to be dwelling there, he's going to be serving Jacob or Israel, right? He's going to be serving his brother. And so that is the difference. And of the dew of heaven from above, that means that when you are in the fatness of the earth, you will also get the rain from above. But unfortunately, your son, your brother Jacob, all of that will be his. He will have the fatness of the earth, and he will have the dew of the heavens. He will have the corn, and he will have the wine, and all his brother will serve him, and you and your people would serve him. And look what it says right here. And listen, and he tried to give him a blessing, and he said, you will dwell in that land, but it won't be yours. It will be Jacob. You will get the what? Dew of the heaven. But you getting the dew of the heaven because you're in that land. So this actually is really not a blessing. And Esau knows that this is not a blessing. And he's going to be very angry with his brother Jacob for a very long time. And a matter of fact, Esau is Edom. And they know that. And they will be fighting with Jacob, which is Israel, for a very long time. So let's keep it moving. What a very interesting thing that happened there. And the reason why I say that was very, very interesting, because if you look at that whole story from the previous episode and continue on to this episode of everything that happened into the family of Isaac, it's almost like it was a movie. You know, it was very interesting. It had a lot of moving parts. There's a lot that was happening. And it seemed that there's a fight for this earth. There's a fight for the new heaven. There's a fight for the new earth. That's what it seems like to me. And I thought it was very interesting indeed, because these two boys know that this blessing that Isaac was going to bestow to them is going to be true. It's going to be real. And even though as they pass away and they're gone, guess what? This blessing will be around. That means this blessing will live. This blessing will come to pass, and there will be a resurrection of the dead. And although we're resurrecting to the new heavens and the new earth, and that blessing will be part of that throughout eternity. And that's why this was a very interesting story, because there seems to be a fight for this blessing, and Esau lost and Jacob has won. And now we're finna move to verse 40. And by that sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt have break his yoke from off thy neck. Now, Esau is getting this from his father. Remember, he asked his father, he said, Father, you have at least something for me, at least one blessing? And his father said, yes, you will be part of the fatness of the earth, and you will get the dew of heaven. But he continued to verse 40 and said, by thy sword shalt thou live, okay, and shalt serve thy brother. Now he's saying this to Esau. He said, by the sword. That means you will have to live by fighting, by warring. Okay, by the sword you shall live. There will be always war and fighting in your land or in your habitation, and shalt serve thy brother, and you will serve your brother Jacob. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And it will come to pass that you will be free from your brother Jacob. But, you know, you will have, when thou shalt have the dominion, when you have the dominion, you will be fighting just like the fight that was going on in the household of Isaac to get this blessing. That fight will continue on well after this. And guess what's going to happen? Esau or the Edom or the Edomite people, they're going to continue and they will get the dominion by fighting. And then guess what's going to happen? They will eventually break the yoke of Jacob off their neck. Now that is what Isaac had to offer to Esau, and that's really not a blessing at all. And we know it's not a blessing because look at verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob. Esau hated Jacob because Esau knows that this is not a blessing at all. Jacob got the real blessing, and Esau got some remnants of a so-called blessing. And now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings wherewith his father blessed him. Esau hated Jacob, okay, because Jacob got the good blessing and Esau did not get a blessing, because after all, that what Isaac just told him is really not a blessing at all. When you say you're going to live by the sword, there's not going to be any happiness and joy and peace in the land. That's going to be war in the land. And Esau knows that, and he hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning of my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. Now Esau didn't make this known. He said it in his heart, and he kept it to himself. Ooh, I'm going to kill Jacob just as soon as I get a chance. He said this in his heart. He did not want to say it out loud because he know that if he would have said this to anyone, Jacob probably got word and took off and run. But he wanted to kill Jacob, and he hated Jacob. He wanted to kill Jacob for what Jacob did. Now, verse 42, and these words of Esau, her eldest son. Let me read that again. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, does comfort himself, pursuing to kill thee. Now, Esau said this to himself, right? He said it in his heart. But Rebekah, I guess she knows Esau very well, and she knew that Esau is going to get revenge. He knew it. Right? Because I'm sure she probably heard this whole entire blessing, that the blessing that's supposed to have been going to Esau that went to Jacob. She heard that. And now she hears the conversation between Esau and Isaac. Right. And she heard that. And when she heard what Isaac gave to Esau, it wasn't a blessing at all. But matter of fact, it seemed to be much more than a very, I hate to say it's a curse or not. I don't think I would say that, but it's definitely not a blessing. Okay. And now look at what it says. I want to read that again. Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her eldest sons, were told to Rebekah. He kept this in his heart, but somehow or another Rebekah found out, and she went and sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, thou comfort himself, pursuing to kill thee. So she told Jacob, listen, your brother wants to kill you because you got the blessing. You stole it from him. You took it from him. However you want to do it, you got the blessing, Jacob. Now Esau is seeking to kill you. Now look what happened right here. Verse 43. Now therefore, this is Rebekah. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise and flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran. And she said, I want you to go back to where I came from. I want you to go back to my brother Laban. And believe me, that's going to be a very interesting story. It's going to be a story that you don't want to miss when it comes to Jacob and Laban, right? But listen, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother fury turns away. This is a very unfortunate verse right here, because if you look at verse 44, what did she say? Now let's go back to verse 43. Okay. Now therefore, my son Jacob, obey my voice and arise and flee to Laban, my brother, to Haran. So now Jacob is forced to leave because Esau is seeking to kill him. And now verse 44, and tarry with him, my brother Laban, tarry with him for a few days until thy brother fury turns away. And the reason why I say verse 44 is a very unfortunate verse, because She says here, I want you to tarry with my brother Laban for a few days, but she would never see Jacob again. At least in the book of Genesis, we have no sign at all of her seeing Jacob again. No matter of fact, when Jacob get there, he's going to be under the rule and under the thumb of her brother Laban for 20 years. And believe me, it's going to be a rough 20 years. But look what she said right here. And tarry for a few days. Didn't happen that way, did it? Now watch this right here. Until thy brother anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him, then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you of both in one day? Now she's saying, now I already know, right, that I lost my son Esau because of this. Now she didn't mind losing Esau, right? Because that wasn't her favorite son. And Esau displeased her probably in a lot of different ways, but he definitely displeased her when he married those Hittite women. She did not like that at all. And so she know that the scheme that her and Jacob put together to deceive Isaac is going to cause her to lose her son Esau. He's going to despise her. He's going to be very angry with her. And he probably didn't say nothing else to her because he knew she was part of this scheme. He knew that Jacob couldn't have done all of this by himself. And he knew his mother probably helped him do that. And so look what she says. She said, I want you to go away for a little while, Jacob, to your brother anger, turn away from him and forget why he was angry in the first place. And then I will call you back. And she said, why would I be deprived, or why would I lose both of you? And indeed, she will definitely lose both of them because of the scheme that she put together. Now, here it is, verse 46. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? Now what she's saying, she's coming up with another scheme. She's trying to get a reason for Jacob to leave the household. She wants Jacob to go to her brother, Laban, into the land of Haran. And she's coming to her husband Isaac. And she's coming to her husband Isaac and saying, listen, these women worry me. I'm tired of these women. I'm sick of these women. I'm sick of these Hittite women in this land. So let's go ahead and send Jacob away and find him a wife among the people that I come from, among the family of Abraham and the family of Isaac. Now look right here. That's what she said in verse 46. So she coming up with a reason for her to send Jacob away, because Isaac is going to want to know where's Jacob going and why is he going away. And now she has this idea that I'm tired of these women. So let's just go ahead and send Jacob away and find another woman among our people. And so that's what happened. That is the end of chapter 27. We're going to start at chapter 28 next time. And so that is what happens, in the household, in the family of Isaac. We've seen a lot happen, didn't we? Man, that was very interesting to say the least. But we got a better idea of what that blessing looks like. We saw what happened with the deception of Jacob. And later on, Jacob would pay for this, for deception. And the reason why he's going to pay for it, because he did not have to do this, but he did it. He had already had the blessing, but probably didn't know he didn't have the blessing. But the fact that he set this up in a deceptive way, he will have to pay for what he's done. And whatever a man sow, he shall reap. And Jacob would definitely reap what he sowed when it comes to deceiving his father and his brother. So let's wrap this up. I want to thank y'all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as we can continue to go through the word of the Lord. I'm hoping that my viewers and my subscribers, I'm hoping you enjoy this, and I'm hoping that you're getting to learn what the Lord is trying to teach in his word, that things that God promised you, he promised it for you. And all you have to do is be patient And all you have to do is keep the faith. And all you have to do is just believe in what he said and what he promised to you. You don't have to get ahead of the Lord. And you don't have to do any tricks and deception. What God has for you is going to be for you. Just be patient for it. Old Jacob right here wasn't patient. And now he will have to pay later on with his uncle Laban a very serious price, because indeed, whatever a man sow, he shall reap. And Jacob is going to reap what he sowed. He's going to reap deception. He's going to reap anger. He's going to reap bitterness. He's going to reap all of that he caused in his household when he was with his father and his mother and his brother. Thank you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get my next video. And I will see you next time in Genesis chapter 28.